What is going on, YouTubers? This is Anime Gamer Fanboy, and welcome to all you bronies and Pegasisters, anime fans and furries, and gamers too. Along with other viewers, I won't forget about you. Today we are talking about. Today I am doing a podcast about. Sorry, I gotta get my notepad. Uh, 4Kids versus Funimation versus Japanese subbed, along with other cartoons. Now, with this podcast, I'm going to be going over cartoons that were on 4Kids TV that I can remember. Well, they used to be called the Fox Box, but then they switched to 4Kids TV, so, they're kind of the same company. But we are going to be talking about the cartoons and their original counterparts, okay? Now, I will try hard to stay on task. Like I said, it's been a little difficult with me to stay on task with certain things, even when I'm trying to pay attention on the game. So, it got me a little something. Now, I know I'm not supposed to drink, but got me a nice bottle of Mike's Hard Lemonade, so a little something to keep me cool, a little focus-minded, and to keep me a little straight. Sorry. Nerves tweak a bit every time I drink that stuff. So, let me check my stuff first. Ah, crap. I accidentally unlocked the Nomad. Shoot. Alright, so before I get into the podcast, guys, just so we're caught up, I did unlock the Victory helmet. So I'm going for the Victory body armor. And then I can move on to the other thing. But anyway, let's get into the nitty gritty. So the first cartoon we're going to be talking about, and I know we talk about this in unnecessary censorship, is One Piece. Now, my buddy, if you guys seen his YouTube channel, which is Marcus Dupree 777, he did this a while back with just One Piece. But he also mentioned in other cartoons. But again, just to be touchy on this, we're going into 4Kids to the original territory. We are not going into like Cartoon Network and original territory. Not yet, but we'll get to that ASAP. Uh, had to make sure my mic was on because I have a habit of, of flipping it off without even thinking. Um, the second thing is we're going to be talking about cartoons that were aired on 4Kids or the Fox Box. So that means it could be like Fighting Foodons, Ultimate Muscle, Metabots, the whole 9 yards. Because when they were on the Fox Box, they used to be on 4Kids as well. That being said, let's get into the conversation. But first, we'll bring up the One Piece. What 4Kids did to it, when I saw the original, I thought, what in the world did I just watch when I thought it was the original? Okay, we'll start off with the simplest. The censorship of the fights. Now, I ain't got nothing against how they censored it because I know how some people are, okay? Like, with some animes, they want to censor out the blood, or someone getting impaled or shot, point blank. But with an anime that's all pirate based, like One Piece, they really didn't need to go that far. Okay, and don't get me wrong here, there were other changes they made, which again I will get into, but we're just covering one thing at a time. But if you guys remember all the fights, like instead of the characters being bloodied up, like they get into their fight, they have a brutal beatdown, but then they come back like pretty much anything they've ever done before. Like, they have a blade beat down, or they get beat down by the enemy, but then they force themselves to get back up to protect the ones they love. Now, I've seen those fights, and there's a lot of stuff wrong with them. Number one, the blood. 4Kids showed the violence, like they showed the main characters getting punched, hit, kicked. But when it comes to like getting stabbed or getting mauled or anything that shows blood, they replaced the blood with the cover just being ruffled in dirt. I mean, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not griping about this specific thing because I know they don't want kids learning about blood because, you know, it's like the same thing with video games. And again, I will get on this touchy subject here, but it's like with the whole video game thing with soccer moms, okay? I'm guessing they wanted it to be appropriate for kids because like with video games, like with the whole video games to soccer mom ratio, they didn't want to get in the crossfire with that. So they censored all the blood, but what was really ridiculous was some of the fights. And when I mean some of the fights, I'm talking like the main battles. And I'll backtrack so you guys can understand, okay? Like with the battles with Buggy the Clown, Captain Kudo, Don Krieg, pretty much all of the East Blue villains. Now, it was kind of ridiculous that they took out the blood. I mean, because think about it this way. When they showed the battle with Don Krieg, they did the whole thing where the bullets don't impale Luffy. Like, if you guys seen the original, you guys know Don Krieg shoots poison-tipped wooden spikes out of his shield. Okay? But they replaced that with like suction cup bullets. Okay? Now in the original, what they did was when Luffy got impaled with those wooden spikes, he pulled them out and threw them aside, and on them there was blood. Oh, what's going up, Gamer Soto? I am talking about. I'm doing. Just read the title of the of the podcast. But yeah, sorry guys. Talking to a buddy of mine. If you guys see the comments or the and such, you know what I'm getting at. But as I was saying, but it's like it was ridiculous. I mean, with some of the battles, they actually didn't. They actually just made it appropriate for kids. So what you're saying is it's okay for adults to learn about animes with pirates that get shot, stabbed, impaled, or pretty much anything. Yeah, yeah, that's it, Soto. But back to what I was saying, guys. So you're saying it's okay for teenagers to adults to watch it, and they get the uncensored version. But if kids watch it, then you got soccer moms and stuff that are overprotective that'll write to the companies or cause like almost a World War III or a World War IV, which is kind of ridiculous. I mean, it's bad enough with the whole video games thing, but are we really gonna stop to anime too? But we'll talk about that topic as a possible later down the road, guys. But yeah, but like I was saying, so like I was saying, in the kids' version of One Piece, first off, the voice actors. Now, the voice actor for Luffy, I'll give him kudos, him or her kudos. It wasn't that bad, but it was not that good. I mean, like, it's a 50-50 ratio. The voice actor for Sanji, I have to admit, they actually made him sound like he was from Brooklyn, with a hint of New York. Okay, and now, again, I mean, like, I might as well get the guy who did the voice for Al Capone and actually have him do that for Sanji. I mean, you just gotta put it that way. But, you know, and the voice characters, I thought, were pretty good. I mean, most of the cast was pretty good. Except Sanji. But, all in all, it wasn't that bad, to be honest. But, let's get on to the next part, where the censorship lies. Okay? Where the censorship lies, and I know this is going to be a long discussion, but, first off, the guns. Now, if you guys watched One Piece, they replaced all the guns with water guns. Yeah, that's true. I'll get to that. Okay, they took all the guns out of the anime, and they completely just put it like them like water guns. So, is that what you really want to teach kids? Really? I mean, you don't want them learning to use a real gun, but it's like, oh hey, they know how to use a water gun. A water gun. I don't know whether I should be impressed or just playing a bit under the table. I mean, when whoever edited One Piece from the original art form, have you lost your doggone mind? Really? I mean, really, with the water guns replacing water guns with real guns. Okay, next thing, let's check out the censorship for, well, we can't check it out because I can't post up pictures, but we'll talk about it for here. In the episode when Zoro is supposed to get executed, I'm going to talk to you guys about that one. In the original, the post that Zoro was on was in the shape of a cross. Now, when they edited it, they took the top part off, and they completely didn't make it a cross anymore. And they even did some of that when some of the weapons had that decal. Like, it looked like a cross, to be honest. So, I don't get it. I mean, like, you know, there are animes that use, like, crosses. Like, okay, first off, we'll cut back on that one. Because, like I said, we'll get into that topic again soon. But all the weapons or anything that was shaped like a cross, they had to completely edit. And I don't know if it was for religious reasons or something like that, but that was just completely messed up, okay? Because it's just one of those things where it's kind of ridiculous. Next thing, the cigarette portion. Now, when I watched the 4Kids version, I told a buddy of mine about it, and he said, "Did they smoke?" I'm like, no, they didn't smoke. Well, he's told me about the original version. I checked out the original version, and in there, you had Smoker smoking 2 cigarettes at once. You had Sanji smoking. Every character that smoked, they actually kept the cigarettes. And in the anime, the ridiculous thing the editors did was replace it with a like. If you guys seen the episode when Sanji fights off against Kurobi or whatever the guy's name is, the mermaid with the webbed hands, or the fish man. Sorry, I get those characters confused. But it's like a fish man that has a ponytail like a martial artist, and he's smoking a cigarette. He pulls his cigarette out of his mouth and points it like that, and you can see, and they edit it where it's a lollipop instead of a cigarette. So, is that what you're telling kids right there? That it's okay to smoke like a fake cigarette? Okay, okay. I'm sorry, I'm looking way too into the morals here, guys. But you know, it's just some of it didn't make sense. Nextly, the food. Now, I seen the original before the 4Kids. Now, going back to the one with Zoro, when Luffy and Kobe end up on the island where Zoro is supposed to be executed. In the original, they had rice cakes, or as what other people would call them, rice balls. And in the kids version, they had cookies. What was wrong with that? Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Well, I took a closer look at the image, and if you guys remember the South Park quote, like, you know how Chef would make those snacks, but he would call them his. And to those of you in chat, you guys would know what I'm getting at here. I mean, if you guys watch South Park, I think maybe you would get the reference, but basically, I think that's why they censored it. Because if the rice cakes are together, that's what it would look like. Or, you know, or that's what people would assume it would look like. So, they censored the rice cakes. And there are certain episodes where they censor all kinds of stuff. And I honestly have to say that they went a little too far overboard. I mean, in some portions they would censor the food. And I can understand why, but, you know. Uh, but it's just they censored a lot of stuff. I mean, I can remember. I mean, like, I know, I think in some episodes they took out the swords. Um, in some episode, well, not the swords, but in some episode, but back to the voice acting for a minute. There was one character that really sounded ridiculous. Buggy the Clown's voice. Now, if you guys seen like the one where you get introduced to Nami, I think it's after the whole Zoro arc where after they fought what was the Navy's name? I think it was like Axeham Morgan or something like that. But they get introduced to Nami right in the Buggy arc. Which I gotta admit, he sounded, ugh. When he got ticked off, it sounded like he was satanic. I'm sorry, but he did sound kind of like a demon. That being said, no, but they also changed up a lot. Like, I don't know how far they went. Like, I don't know if they went up to the Alabasta arc. I don't know if they went anywhere else, but I think they ended it because there were too many episodes in the series. But the worst that they censored, I can't remember. I can't remember if they cut certain scenes out or something. But in the original, that's where I should go. In the original, they cut out little gardens. Now, if you guys remember the arc, it's when they're traveling to Alabasta, but they end up in a dinosaur-themed place called Little Gardens. And there you meet the two giants named Broggy and someone else. I can't remember who, but basically there are two giants that constantly fight to go back home to Albast. I think that's what the place was called, but it was a pretty good clip here. But you know, but from what I understand is that during when the show was running on 4Kids, they cut out the arc right when they go to Albast. Now, if you guys seen the original, in the series, they go through Little Garden. Like the arc, it's called the Little Garden arc. In the 4Kids version, they cut that arc completely out. I don't know why, I don't know how, but... And I know I'm bouncing all over the place with the censorship, or the stuff between the censorship, the voice acting, and stuff like that. But when you meet Baroque Works, the one character that has the annoying voice actor is the voice actor for Mr. 2, Bon Clay. Now, that one really went too far, and I'm talking really. I mean, I get it on certain notes that they want the anime to be appropriate for kids. But bear in mind, how do they expect to keep it appropriate? So, but anyway, after that, there is the dialogue. Now, in some of the dialogue, I have to admit, it was bad. In the 4Kids version, it was, like, so bad. It's like when you eat something too spicy, and you try to drink something to bring it down, and it just makes the spiciness worse. Kind of bad. But, first off, if you guys remember the fight from One Piece, they use dialogues that makes it look like looks like a 5-year-old could come up with. Like, example, when Luffy fights Crocodile for the very first time, and I'll tell you, it was bad. The saying he used was, "Your powers are cute, and they amuse me, but you use them like you're ordering from a fast food restaurant." Okay, what in the world were they thinking? I mean, I've seen the anime a lot. There is no fast food joints in One Piece, or even in the One Piece universe. Oh, now if they're in a town like, if they're in any town, yeah, I could see a restaurant or anything like that. But there is no fast food in the One Piece. I mean, like, if they were in towns, yeah, again, if they were in towns, yeah, I can see that. But there is no, and I know I'm listing off, restaurants here, but there's no, I gotta think of as, I gotta think of fast food restaurants for this example. There's, well, there's no McDonald's, Wendy's, Arby's, Burger King. There is none of that. So how could, first off, how could the One Piece characters know what fast food is? I mean, I'm sorry, but that was just a ridiculous line. And and some of the lines they use like made no sense. And if you guys know what I'm talking about, if you watch the 4 Kids version, when Luffy, I'm trying to remember, when Luffy's fighting Crocodile in the desert, in the 4 Kids version, he mentions that the he mentions that the giant crap, I forget what it was called. The tornado of quicksand was like a giant toilet. A giant. Hold on. Hold on. I'm gonna get a drink after I say this, but really, you had to mention something like that in the anime. A huge toilet. First off, okay, again, this is One Piece, an anime based on pirates. How did... Okay, first off, give me a minute. Give me 1 minute. Okay, first off, what possessed you to use a dialogue like that? In, okay, but the worst dialogue in bringing this up, guys. Okay, Soto, take your time. But the worst dialogue was when Crocodile knew what Luffy said in the 4 Kids version, and he called him, which was one of the most stupidest idiocy dialogues I have ever heard in my life. He called him desert doo-doo. And the dialogue from that episode was a desert toilet, what a lovely sediment, and that guess that makes you desert doo-doo. Okay. I still get a headache from hearing that. I still do. I mean, why why in the world would you use a dialogue like that? Alright, Soto. Welcome back. But, and I mean, why would you use a dialogue like that? I mean, it makes no sense. I mean, in anime, uh, no, I'm not gonna bring this up. But with certain aspects of the anime, 4Kids pretty much swamped it with ridiculous dialogues. Now, bringing back to after the Alabasta arc, guys, when Nico Robin joins the crew, when right after they go through the interrogations, and Sanji starts doing his whole thing where he goes all flirtatious love guru all over it. Okay, now you know how he always becomes a flirtatious with women. Now, I'm gonna bring up one anime character that does that. If you guys seen Inuyasha, and I know this is a little off topic, but if you guys seen the anime Inuyasha, and you guys remember the monk with the cursed wind tunnel in his right hand, then he's basically a perverted monk. Or or using a Naruto reference, a pervy sage. Back to that note. So after that, Zoro and Usopp goes through their dialogues. And the most ridiculous line that made me cringe so bad that I almost felt like stop watching the anime was a sucker for a pucker. And over and over, every time I've remembered those scenes, it's like, okay, you know, did an elementary school student write this, or did an animator actually sit down, look through the original list or the original script, and when they edited it, it was like, okay, you know, it was like okay, did someone just go, okay, we can keep this, we can keep this, oh, we can scratch that out and replace it with this. I mean, don't get me wrong, guys, but One Piece originally and uncut, that was the I still remember it from years ago, Soto. Okay, I mean, like, but I just watch like the when I can, I did watch the YouTube comparisons once in a while when I could. But yeah, but like sorry guys, like I said, I'm keeping up with the comments from my chat, so but yeah, but with the original, but with the 4Kids version, it's like they completely jacked it up. So it's like when you watch it, it just makes you cringe. Like the worst way it'll make you cringe is like if you remember something you did from your past that was so bad, it just makes your spine shiver or anything like that. Now let's switch gears. The original is a lot better than the 4Kids version because it keeps the original script. It doesn't edit anything out, and it does completely 100% good storytelling in all the arcs. From the very start all the way up to the... I think so far they dubbed up to the New World arc. I'm pretty sure they're going to continue throughout the whole series. Okay? But all in all, the 4Kids versus the original and the Japanese subbed. If you guys have seen boxing or MMA or stuff like that, then the original or Japanese subbed trumps the 4Kids TV version. Now, let's switch gears. because we are going to be getting into Yu-Gi-Oh! Now, they showed this on 4Kids TV, and I've seen the 4Kids TV and the original, and same thing, there's going to be some things that they edited, but, you know, not very much. Now, in the original version, or in the Japanese sub version, Yu-Gi-Oh! I would have to say had pretty good standards, okay? Except a few things bugged me. When they went to edit it, like in the 4Kids version, there were some stuff they edited which I didn't think was necessary. But, you know, again, like I said, trumping into territory here like crazy. They edited, like, some stuff out. Like, on certain cards where there would be a cross, or, you know, like, again, bringing up, like, with One Piece, when Zoro was tied to an execution to be executed or to last a month because of Hell Nepo, or Hell Meppo, or whatever, however you called it. Now it's Yu-Gi-Oh! You know. But in the Japanese version, they did get away with a lot of stuff. Like, there were a lot of stuff with crosses, a lot of stuff with, you know. Like, in the Japanese sub version of Yu-Gi-Oh! They could curse. But when they did the original version that wasn't for kids, yeah, they might have slipped something in here or there, but when they did it, I mean, like, in the original dubbed version, they did have the scene when Kaiba escapes Pegasus's goons and Duelist Kingdom, but they had guns. I remember that. Because if you remember it, Soto, is, when Kaiba is working on a portable dual disc, he gets busted by Pegasus's goons and was about to be captured, but they had guns, so once when he jumps out the window making a really good escape, they actually tried to shoot at him, but they missed because he made a badass escape. And I think I've said this in my one of my previous, when me and my family says something's badass, we also mean it's cool. So, you know, and I think all people use that once in a while. But yeah, but like I was saying though, but they did edit out some of the cards. Now, GX from the original to English dub to 4Kids, all of them look the same except again with the 4Kids version, they had to edit some stuff out. Now, if you guys know what that is, like I said, I did most of the research that I could, but you know, was really on a basis of time, so you know. But what I had to admit was the voice actors from GX. I think it's like season 2, I believe, when they start using like the whole with the Dark Riders or whatever it is, but when they had the cool voice actors, like and I'm not sounding picky when I say this, but they actually had someone who actually was like Southern actually did that, did the voice of Jesse. And if you guys don't know who Jesse was, he was the one character that ran with the Crystal Beast deck. And he even had the Rainbow Dragon, which was a pretty good card, I gotta admit. And again, but and they even showed Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds on 4Kids, which again had all the elements of the story and was pretty good. No dub censorship, which I gotta admit, but with the Dark Signers though in Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds, I actually thought they was gonna censor them because the way they looked like, I mean, like with the cloaks and everything, they looked like they was people who were trying to, be like satanic worshippers, you know. But the farthest they showed on Yu-Gi-Oh, when they showed it on TV, they showed it on then they showed it on the CW4 Kids, but they did pretty much edit it pretty bad. I mean, like with the original Yu-Gi-Oh, they cut out some scenes, like when like in the Japanese subversion, they cut out the part when Taya, Tristan, and Bakura would try to break into Pegasus's castle, and they told Taya she needs to go first. That if she falls, they can catch her. But the only problem with that was that she didn't want to go first because she was wearing a skirt. Now, following a quick anime thing here, if you guys seen certain animes where like they wear like school uniforms, like the girls wear the skirts, the shirts, the bow ties, stuff like that. Anything like a breeze of wind or anything can slide through and then raise that skirt up a bit. Point taken. The only reason why she didn't want to go first was because that reason, because she was afraid her two friends would peek up while they were climbing, because they have to look, up. Famous reference from Dragon Ball, the one Dragon Ball, when Bulma, Goku, and Krillin are hanging off a ledge, and Krillin has a hold of her shorts. You know, again, that scenario, point blank on that example for the Yu-Gi-Oh. Just pulling that up real quick. Whew. So, but they cut that scene out because they probably thought it was inappropriate, and plus they didn't want kids to, imitate it. And however, during the climb, basically the only way they could solve the problem was that Taya had Bakura and Tristan pretty much blindfolded on a climb. Uh, Call me crazy, but that's kind of ridiculous. I mean, think about it. If someone's wearing a skirt and you're trying to climb at an angle, like, say you got a mountain right here, okay? Say my hand's a mountain, okay? If you got someone blindfolded and they're trying to climb the mountain with ropes and stuff, then they can't see what the heck they're doing. Now, during that climb, there's peaks, ledges, stuff like that. Someone could easily hit a ledge, and then they could just end up accidentally letting go of the rope because of their strength, and then they'd be pushing 6 feet under. You know what I mean there? If you guys do know what I mean, okay. But if you guys don't know what I mean, then I think you need to try to watch a cartoon reference to get the better reference of me explaining. So, but what I don't understand is when I looked at the original Yu-Gi-Oh Season 0, the one that builds up to the previous Yu-Gi-Oh, it pretty much was a little bit darker, a little bit jacked up. I missed him. But all in all, it did show a little bit of a coolness. Anyway, but now that we've done talking about Yu-Gi-Oh, let's switch gears. Now, this was an old cartoon that I watched when I was a kid, and to let you guys know, it was my favorite game of all time, but, it was called Sonic X. Now, Sonic X was a pretty good cartoon. It was one of those type of cartoons where you can watch. No thanks, cool gamer. I want to actually try to get through my tasks. But yeah, guys, sorry, I was replying to my friend Cool Gamer Soto. But where was I? Oh, right. But in Sonic X, they did partially some editing. Like, I don't know why, but in some scenes they took out like the Japanese writing. I mean, couldn't the animators before they? I mean, like the editors took out. Like, couldn't they just fix the Japanese writing to English? And what I mean by that, guys, is that in one of the episodes of Sonic X, the main character who finds Sonic, Chris, has a sign, but the sign's all in Japanese. But they unedited it. They edited it where it took out the Japanese writing. I mean, I don't know why they would do that. And again, it was kind of ridiculous. I mean, it would have been wise if they translated what was said first and then been like, okay, if this is what it means, we should just put it in English for kids to understand. Not just edit this note out completely. And in the painting, when they showed a painting that showed a whole bunch of shapes and stuff, you guys could tell that there was a cross that was sideways. Now, which was ridiculous because all they did, yeah, I know that, cool gamer Soto, but I'm saying like, but like in the painting you could hardly tell there was a cross. I mean, all it was just like shapes and everything. So that's what they pretty much did. Ooh. So wasn't paying attention. So, but like I was saying though, but like I was saying, in Sonic, the only thing they did edited was like Japanese writing, and for 4Kids version, all they edited was the Japanese writing and the painting. Now, let's get into a funny cartoon that I used to watch. It used to be on the Fox Box, but in through the Fox Box territory as well, because 4Kids was previously the Fox Box before it became 4Kids. But there was shows on the Fox Box that I would watch, which were a lot good. Like, let's see, like, shoot, what was it? Ultimate Muscle. Now, if you guys remember that one, that cartoon that was 4Kids material, well, 4Kids slash Fox Box. And I know it says 4Kids, but, you know, I forgot to add slash Fox Box, but because, you know, I ran out of room. But that cartoon was pretty funny when I was a kid. And I used to watch Ultimate Muscle, and I used to play like the I think it was like the PS2 games or the GameCube games, but like I forget what which one, but I would play that game like every time I would get a chance when I was a kid. I would go to family videos and I would rent that game and I would play it all through the night just to play it. Because it was actually a pretty fun game. But the cartoon, though, it was pretty funny. Even though they had, like, some jacked up stuff that I can remember. But it was still pretty good. Ah. But, anyway, but 4Kids did have some good kids when they used good kid shows when they used to have it for the Fox Box. Uh, uh, the cool gamer Soto, I gotta finish up my capture the flag stuff, and then I gotta see if I can get my other stuff. But you know, but when I used to watch Ultimate Muscle, but when before the Foxbox became for kids, guys, I used to watch cartoons like Fighting Foodons, Ultimate Muscle. I forget what else they had, but those were the two top cartoons like anybody could watch. Now, if you got now pushing the comparison and dubs aside, since we got through that information, with Fighting Foodons, I've seen the original Japanese sub version or the original Japanese version before they decided to make it an English dub thing. But if you guys never seen Fighting Foodons, it was a good cartoon and I would recommend it, but finding it would be a pain in the buttocks. Well, sorry guys. Gotta keep my stomach nourished. But as I was saying, the cartoon Fighting Foodon was a really good cartoon. Even though they did edit some stuff out of it. I still pretty much thought it was pretty good. Mm. No cool gamer Soto. It's still it's 11:35 at night. I gotta get some air in here. Mm. Mm. Oh yeah. I know I'm jumping all over the place, guys, but I'm gonna go back to One Piece for a minute. But the most stupid mistake they made. Now, if you guys remember the Captain Kudo arc, and I'm talking like the arc where Usopp's hometown is deliberately attacked.
Hostiles have taken our flag. Hostile flag carrier is down. Our flag has been returned. Capture the enemy flag.
But when Kaya's home is attacked, and you guys, if you guys remember this, let me know. But when she had a confrontation with Klahadore, I think that's what the butler was named at the time. Um, but when she pulled a gun out on him, in the English dub version, the 4Kids version, she pulled a slingshot.
Care package inbound.
And in the original, she pulled a gun. Okay, for one, and I'm sorry, I'm not critiquing the animators here, but if you were in a difficult position like that, like where you had to decide when you're facing off against a one of your one of your favorite people who's a pirate or who's a butler pretending to be a pirate, would you use a slingshot and do minimum damage, or would you use a pistol, a 45, or anything like that and do full-blown damage? Now, I'm going to take a page from The Walking Dead here for a minute. If you was in a zombie apocalypse and you wanted to do more damage, and you wanted to do, like, the biggest amount of damage you can think of, would you use a slingshot? Mind you, won't do hardly any damage unless aimed right. Or would you rather use a pistol, whether it be a 45, a 9mm, a 12mm, or anything like that? And I'm sorry if I don't know guns, basically, but, you know. But, anyway. The point is, the animators really jacked that scene up. Because I understand they're trying to keep it for kids. But it's bad enough that when they edited it, and like with other animes that they would probably edit, they would take out the blood, the language, some dialogue that sounds twisted but, you know, is pretty funny, and vice versa, you know? But on the on the boxing side, if those two got into a fight, original and uncut and unedited wins every time. But with the 4Kids version, I can see where they're going, you know? Like, I can see that they're just trying to butch it up so it's appropriate for kids to watch. But let's look at what they did there. They throw kids off by not putting in the full arcs. They twisted up the storyline because after the arc with Whiskey Peak, they're supposed to go to Little Garden. So you cut a whole entire arc out just so it's like, okay, the kids don't want to sit through the boring dialogue, let's just cut to the Alabasta arc. That's like saying if you watch movies, you watch them out of cryogenical order. Like, you watch them, like, if you were to watch the Spider-Man trilogy and then go into the Amazing Spider-Man, that'd be like saying you watch Spider-Man 2, 1, and then 3. But then you would get the stories mixed up. Same thing with the Pirates of the Caribbean features. It's like you watch The Curse of the Black Pearl, then The Dead Man's Chest, At World's End, and then I forget how others go, but my point is you don't watch anything out of cryogenical order. You have to watch everything in cryogenical order because if you're trying to get the story out of it, then you will be able to understand. Like with One Piece, the way they did it in the original version, they do arcs where they tell the stories of each of the main characters. They told the past life or their backstory, and then they moved on. However, when they cut out an arc, it's like cutting out a chunk of the story. It's like the editors were saying, man, the kids weren't interested in that. So you know what? Let's skip it. Okay, that'd be like trying to make a Bugs Bunny cartoon without Bugs Bunny, or trying to make a Space Jam movie without, of course, a famous star athlete. The point of the matter is, with some animes or some cartoons or animes, doesn't matter. You don't mess with the story arc. You mess with the story arc, that's bad Cujo because you won't know what's going on. Now, as I was saying though, but when you look at things like that, it's completely off the alma mater, or alma mater. That'd be like trying to do a comedy skit without the comedy bits of it, or that'd be like doing songs like the HMS Pedophore without your supplies.
Be advised, hostile UAV.
Oh,
Be advised, hostile care package overhead.
ah, nuts. But to be fair, I know where 4Kids was going with all the editing. They wanted to make it so like it didn't seem inappropriate or didn't seem bad for kids. So
Be advised, hostile lightning
again, like I was saying, with the boxing match, if it was a boxing match,
overhead.
we'll do it by round. Round one, with the editing, dialogue, and all that stuff, it'll go to the original, full blown KO.
Be advised,
Two,
hostile
keeping all of its
missile
arcs
inbound.
and not fidgeting with the storyline or editing any problems. Again,
Hostile
the
Guardian
original.
spotted.
And three,
Hostile UAV
the
spotted.
most important.
We have the enemy flag. Hostiles have taken our
Crap.
flag.
The most important. Trying to make it appropriate for kids. That round will go to for kids. But the original wins by 2-1.
Fight harder. Our flag is secure.
But lastly,
Be
for
advised,
it being
hostile
the
server.
coolest anime,
Be advised, hostile hardened sentry spotted.
I think it's a tie on both of them.
Hostile power core online.
Because, again, for the 4Kids, like I said, I know why they did the unnecessary censorship on some parts, or did some stuff, but
Last section.
they just wanted to make it appropriate for kids, so that way it's like kids can watch it too,
Hostile hardened
but
sentry
without all
spotted.
the teenage stuff or the adult stuff. So, all in all, I can get where this is coming from pretty much. Now, all that aside, let's get on with another 4Kids cartoon that I did watch when I was a kid. Um,
Mission is a bust.
there was two that I watched when I was a kid. I already told you Sonic X. I also did watch. Ugh, sorry. I also did watch Fighting Foodons and Ultimate Muscle. Now, before those two came to English dub TV, they were made in Japan. Now, I've seen the original. I've seen some of the original. And I think the original Ultimate Muscle was called Kamiku Man or something like that. But it was pretty okay on the part, you know? But the one cartoon that I definitely knew what it was a real good one was Fighting Foodons. Now, if you guys don't know about that one, It's kind of like a crossbreed between. Oof. I don't even know. I mean, I gotta think for a minute. What can I compare it to? Because I know it did like a Yu-Gi-Oh kind of theme because it used cards called meal tickets, and it turned the whatever was cooked into a monster. But it also had like a duel master kind of theme. Oh, crap, I don't know what to compare it to, but it was one good cartoon. But it did have some flaws in the English dub version that was for kids against the original. Now, in the original, when it actually showed a character getting attacked and bleeding, they actually did that. But in the for kids version, they actually did a segment where they had someone just, attack them, but they're covered like in bruises or covered in dirt. And again, I can see where four kids or the Fox Box was going with this. They wanted to make it appropriate for children. But there are going to be animes where kids will just sit back, relax, and watch with older siblings or adults, and they're going to learn about certain stuff sooner or later. And it's like, okay, there are schools nowadays where kids learn about stuff and they'll share it with other people or other students. So instead of making things appropriate for kids, you know, let them just watch the Funimation version. I mean, because I know some schools always have like anime clubs, and the anime clubs always watch all kinds of stuff. Now, and I can see where some parents are on the boat about this, like with the 4 Kids version, parents won't be like, okay, what the heck is my kids watching, or da 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 da. But with the Funimation version, like I said, you got the same thing. Because there will be times where certain stuff will pop up and parents will find it questionable. So, like, again, we're going to review some of the edits and I can tell you guys the examples. Like, for example, with One Piece. Now, if you have a family that is religious, if they see anything with a cross in it, like marked on a, or marked like someone being like on an execution, then I can see the point in that. I mean, parents would flip a lid. Okay? The second thing with the food censorship. Now, I did give you guys a hint on what the rice cakes resembled. So, let's refresh that. If you guys seen South Park, I believe there was one episode when Chef makes what was it? I think it was because I was a big South Park fan before my family, before I stopped watching it because it just got ridiculous. Because they killed off one of the characters, which was pretty funny. Um, yeah, it was Chef, and he made the chocolate salty balls. Okay. Now, with those kinds of references, it's basically that kind of problem right there. But with that reference, think about that for a minute and think of the rice cake scene from the original One Piece. When the little girl brings Zoro some rice cakes or rice balls. Now, when you think of that moment, think of the South Park chef moment where he makes the chocolate salty balls. Now you see where I'm getting at there. Because the reason why 4Kids edited that out is because of how the way the rice balls looked.
Hostile UAV incoming. Friendly counter UAV inbound.
Second, the cigarettes or any character that was smoking.
Hostiles
Now,
taking our flag.
I know parents would definitely flip a lid about this one, especially if a 8 or 9 year old is watching an anime with characters smoking. Because there are some parents that believe that if a kid sees someone smoking, they'll pick up on the habit. You know, like with chewing tobacco. If anyone's seen doing it, then little ones always monitor either parents or older siblings, and they'll say, "Oh, hey, I want to be like my older brother or my father," or any parental guidance. Okay, so I can see that reason right there why they cut out the cigarettes. Now, the guns, and right here is where I'm picking up a bit.
But we're not done yet. Bring it.
I know parents that usually hunt or anything like that teaches their kids, even with certain stanchos. And there are some parents that are overprotective, like if the older sibling or the younger sibling's watching the house and someone breaks in, it's always the whole shoot first, ask questions later, or
Secure the objectives.
shoot and keep them alive, or and then call the police.
Cerberus inbound.
You know,
Be advised.
I mean, I can understand certain parents like that,
Be advised.
and there are some parents that don't want their kids using weapons at all.
Spotted.
Again, there,
Our flag has been taken.
again, like I said, there's certain aspects on this anime that I can understand some parents just don't want their kids going down. Anywho, but again, I've listed all the aspects so far of why parents would get ticked off or be overprotective about this anime.
Multiple hostile sentry guns in your
But
AO.
under some discretions,
Package inbound.
teenagers and
Hostile guardian in your AO.
teenagers and every other
Hostile care
people that watch animes.
Hostile UAV above.
I'll have to take the Man of War. I gotta get that leveled up.
Hostile wraith in your AO.
So, you know, I mean, and like I said, there are some animes that kids could easily pick up on or trait and follow in. So, and like I said, I can give kudos to Funimation for always trying to make animes kid friendly or make cartoons kid friendly. But as I said,
Hostile guard in your AO. Be advised. Hostile Cerberus
tampering with the
captured.
if I can speak right, tampering with the original is no good.
Be advised. Hostile care package overhead. Hostile UAV spotted. Friendly care package incoming. Our flag has been taken.
I mean, cause tampering with the original, it's like
Our flag has been
it's like taking an original piece of art and then editing it up. So it's like when 4Kids tampered with one piece from the original, it's like taking a famous painting and then butchering it. Example, the famous French painting from Leonardo, I think it was either Leonardo da Vinci or Leonardo. No, I'm not thinking Leonardo DiCaprio. What the heck am I thinking? Leonardo da Vinci. the Mona Lisa. That'd be like saying if someone took
Hostile hardened sentry
that
spotted.
design
Hostiles have taken our
and
flag.
redid it.
Rolling thunder deployed.
You know, that'd be like, because that's like copying someone else's work.
Hostile hardened sentry spotted. Hostile flag preserved. Hostile flag carriers down. Be advised, hostile care package overhead. Hostile UAV above.
And I know some people are going to argue about this, but it's true.
Hostile care package overhead.
Because it's like
Hostiles have taken our flag.
when someone copies or edits someone else's work. So, to recap,
Hostile hardened
unless they had okay approval, that's pretty much why 4Kids stopped, because the series was too long to keep going. Now, the original KO right there for 4Kids. 4Kids stopped at a certain amount, while the One Piece in the Japanese sub and the English dub hit 700 episodes and is kicking. So that's where one flaw lies. But to be fair though, 4Kids did have some good works. I mean, besides taking some original works and then just dubbing them up for kids. If I recall correctly, they really had some good works before that. But when they had Dragon Ball Z, yeah, that was not good. Not good indeed. So that's the point. That's pretty much what I'm gonna go into with all those. But to be fair, though, like I said, I'm not going all out like crazy, but I still think 4Kids could have done a better job with some of the stuff. I mean, by looking at the scripts first and then thinking, okay, we should relook through this and not put like dialogues you would hear from a 5-year-old. Okay? Now with Yu-Gi-Oh, Yu-Gi-Oh GX 5Ds, now those Yu-Gi-Ohs they actually kept their stuff because they went farther and farther. However, they never did show like Zexal or Arc V, which was kind of a good thing because Zexal and Arc V didn't come out until later in the 2000s era. And to be honest, I hope it stays that way. Like, as in, I hope it stays that way. 4Kids don't get a hold of it, and then they just don't butch it up like they did with the original. Like I said, I understand they were trying to make it appropriate for kids. I understand they were trying to make it completely 100% ongoing for kids. But they used like such kiddie dialogue. Like dialogue like you would expect to hear from maybe a 10-year-old. Well, no, strike that. Maybe a 5 or 6-year-old. So, that's pretty much one basic right there. There we go. So, you know, and as much as it really pushes me over the edge, just remembering all that, like remembering. Oh, did I throw away that? Oh, hold on a sec, guys. I gotta make sure I threw something away real quick. Okay, no, I didn't. Ow. There we go. But, like I was saying though, but they used dialogue that was meant for a kid. I mean, like, I rephrased some of the dialogue that you would find in One Piece, guys. Like the 4Kids version, like they use like ridiculous. And the characters' names in One Piece for the 4Kids version, in the original they call him Zoro, the swordsman. But in the 4Kids version they call him Zolo.
Hardcore capture the flag.
How could you butcher up somebody's name?
Secure the objective.
Okay, like in the Funimation version, or in the original version, which I'll call the Funimation version, they call Luffy Luffy. In the Japanese sub version, they call him Rufy. That's with an R. I mean, like they call him Luffy, but they call him Rufy. Yeah, that's what I'm getting at. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm guessing they looked up the definition of Zoro, and they might have thought, when they thought of the name. I mean, because think about it. Roanoa Zoro, Zoro's name did have the same name as the
We have the enemy
one
flag.
Mask of Zorro,
Our flag has
but
been
only
taken.
that Zorro spelled Zorro, not Zoro.
We dropped their flag. Our flag has been dropped.
Oh, good.
Be advised, hostiles have returned their flag.
Ah, but all the other characters' names were still the same. But like in the Japanese subversion, they called Luffy Rufy.
Our flag
Like
carrier
in
is
the
down.
Japanese version, which, to be
Our flag
fair,
has been taken.
I think they only called him Rufy
Be advised,
is
hostiles have
because they
returned
thought
their flag.
because in the Japanese
Hostile
version
flag carrier is down.
the R is close to the L.
Our flag has been taken.
But think about it. If they call Luffy
Be
Rufy,
advised, hostiles have captured
it's
our
like
flag.
saying the name
Be advised, hostile UAV
of the
overhead.
name of
Hostiles have
something
taken our
else.
flag. Our flag is back at base.
And I think you know where I'm going with that, Cool
Flag has
Gamer
been
Soto.
taken.
If you've seen the Hangover movies, I think you know where I'm going with that. Uh, but yeah, guys.
We have the
Also, I
enemy
wanted to
flag.
apologize for not being on all day.
We dropped their
I
flag.
was gonna do the podcast earlier today, but
Hostile flag
I had a
returned.
pain in my lower back, like down to my tailbone,
Be
and
advised, hostiles
it
have captured
completely
our
hurt
flag.
that I ended up sleeping
Enemy
all
flag
day.
acquired.
So I might have slept from, ugh, I can't remember, about maybe 8 o'clock or so to maybe 11 o'clock. So I'd say that's a long period of sleep.
Care package awaiting orders.
We've captured the enemy flag.
So that's pretty much why I haven't been on all day. So I slept all day, so I'm pretty much gonna be wired all through the night. I figured I'd do this live podcast to get back in the gear of podcasts since I said I would, and I needed to get back on the horse because this one was gnawing at me, on my opinion. So, but yeah, but we can talk about 4Kids. I like since we're doing the whole 4Kids versus Funimation thing. 4Kids did produce some cartoons, which I'll admit, since even though they had some of the anime genre, like Yu-Gi-Oh, One Piece, you know, but they did have some good cartoons that were non-Funimation, like, but they were from the Japanese area, like Fighting Foodon, Ultimate Muscle, and some that were not from the Japanese era or Japanese, not from the Japanese area or Japanese sub or not Japanese animation. That like they had good cartoons, like well, like not Big Guy and Rust. Well, I forget what other cartoons they had, but I know they had like 4Kids had good cartoons like cartoons that had to be discontinued. I don't know if it was because of the fun of the animations wise, but they had Huntix. Actually, I'll have to look up a list. I'll tell you guys what they had besides One Piece and Yu-Gi-Oh. But I know from Japan they also had Sonic and Kirby. So just give me a minute. My computer will be a little bit slow, but just give it a minute and it'll pull back up. Let's see. Okay, here's some of the cartoons they did have. Some were from Japan, but if some of you guys are from Japan and you guys know that these were from Japan, you let me know. But they had, but I know Sonic X was one. They had Chaotic, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Cubix, Robots for Everyone, Wings Club, Daigata Defenders, Ultraman Tiga, Stargate Infinity, Biker Mice from Mars, G.I. Joe Sigma 6. Uh, they had Funky Cops, Viva Pinata. They had Yu-Gi-Oh, the whole Yu-Gi-Oh series, like from the original to Capsule Monsters, or the original to when they were in the virtual world. They had Yu-Gi-Oh GX, Yu-Gi-Oh 5Ds. They had Highlander, the series. So, they had all those. And when they were the Fox box, which I'll pull that up in a minute. Huh, well, I guess they had the same ones. Ah, they won. But, they had all these they had all these cartoons on 4kids.tv. Sorry. And the only ones I do know that were from Japan were Yu-Gi-Oh, uh, Sonic X, and that's about all I know. The other shows I listed, and I'll list through them again, but I know Sonic X and Yu-Gi-Oh were from Japan, along with Kirby. There was Chaotic, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Cubics, the Wings Club, which, you know, I had a niece that watched that, or a female cousin, I should put it. Daigata Defenders, Ultraman Tiga, I know that one was from Japan. Stargate Infinity, Biker Mice from Mars, G.I. Joe Sigma 6, this thing will move over. They had Funky Cops, which was like almost in the a 4kids TV show that was like took place about the 80s, which was kind of funny. I gotta admit there. But they also had like Viva Pinata and the Highlander series. Now, to be fair, they did have like all of these, but it's like, you know, it's just they changed it up a lot, you know, like really a lot. So, but they had all kinds of TV shows. Oh wait. But 4kids became the Fox Box, and then the Fox Box became the CW4 Kids. So, it's kind of like every show that each of those companies had before they transferred over. Cause you know, cause they used to be like when they became CW4 Kids, they cut back on the editing a bit. So, I guess you can say with certain cartoons, they did all kinds of good stuff. I mean, depending on how you look at it. Because, like I said, guys, the 4kids switched over to the Fox Box, and then the Fox Box switched over to CW4 Kids. And One Piece would be right on CW4 Kids, which used to be the Fox Box, which used to be 4kids TV. Now, I remember that I would always watch those shows when I was a kid. Wings Club, if that came on, yeah, I would probably switch it between Cartoon Network or anything else. But I would watch Chaotic. I mean, I still have the cards, but when the card game came out, I mean, I wanted to try to get like the rare ones, like what the main characters had, like Maxor, Kaor. uh, Empress, you know, all that kind of stuff. But you know, and I don't know why they stopped doing the whole TV show altogether. You know, I mean, I actually thought that the cartoons were pretty good, that they would keep going. But I'm guessing some of it had to do with ratings, and some of it had to do with, well, you know, not budget cuts, but with, not budget cuts, but with, payments. You know, like with the, you gotta pay animators, voice actors, you know, stuff like that. So, but
Hostiles have taken our flag.
I could say that they also did some pretty good TV shows. And like I said, I'm not putting 4Kids on a high pedestal here. I'm saying like they did some good shows. But like taking stuff from Japan and then editing it from the original. Yeah, that was ridiculous.
Our flag's been dropped. Our flag is secure. We have the enemy flag. We dropped their flag. Hostile flag returned.
And I get sprayed with shoddy. Okay, but bottom of the barrel is most of those cartoons did have a little violent demographic.
Inbound.
But let's think about this for a minute. There would always be like viewer discretions on certain cartoons.
Flag acquired. Drop their flag. Be advised, hostiles have returned their flag. Hostiles have taken our flag.
So what I don't get is how sometimes they always do that, you know, like because like on certain TV shows they always show like viewer discretion is advised. And I can remember some TV shows that did that, like Family Guy, uh, American Dad. There was all kinds of TV shows that did that, and they even did it with some cartoons. Like I think they did it when I was a kid.
Hostile flag carrier is down. Enemy flag acquired.
The one TV show I remember they did it with was Biker Mice from Mars.
Our flag's been captured. Be advised, hostile UAV incoming.
So
Be advised, hostile Wraith inbound. Our flag's been dropped.
it's just one of those things where
Back at base.
it would be like sometimes they'll show the viewer discretion is advised things. But
Our flag has been taken.
if we can flash back for a minute, there are some Funimation cartoons that actually do viewer discretions. So it's like, oh, okay, little kids aren't supposed to be watching this, you know. It's best we put a warning out for the parents. So it's like, oh, hey, if parents are watching, if their kids are watching this,
Time's running out.
parents need to know about this, you know.
Not done yet. Break.
But again, I digress.
Halftime. Capture the
again, I digress on certain of the things, but I still, with some of the editing, I still don't see what kind of problems it caused. I mean, like with One Piece, yeah. If some people took it the wrong way, yeah, they're probably bringing up a South Park reference. Okay, but however, if you know that it's just like rice cakes, but the animators probably put it the wrong way, then I can understand that, you know? I mean, because like in the original, they did rice cakes. Okay? Like they did.
Our flag carrier is down. Hostile flag return.
Like they did rice cakes smushed together.
Inbound.
Okay? And some people could think of it the wrong.
Enemy flag acquired.
Yeah, he's gonna go.
Drop their flag.
I knew that was coming. What the? Okay, why did I just glitch like that? Hmm. But anyway, guys. But
Enemy flag acquired.
I'm just stating my thoughts and opinions on it. But if it was like a boxing match, I'd definitely say the original would mop the floor with the 4Kids version. I mean, and don't get me wrong. Before all of you who were 4Kids fans when you were kids,
We have the enemy
state something or like leave rude retorts on my channel.
inbound.
I'm just saying 4Kids did have some pretty good cartoons. You know, like I said, and to bring up the list again, you had Chaotic. Uh, I think that's what it was. Chaotic, Biker Mice from Mars, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I mean, you had some of the good stuff. But again, they did have One Piece, Yu-Gi-Oh, Sonic X, and Kirby, which they did edit it because of some stipulations. And I must say,
Taking our flag.
they do justice on some of the portions of it, you know. But you can't just edit one small thing because, like, you edit one small thing, then it goes into bigger changes. Like again, to re-bring up the One Piece, they edited the dialogue, they cut out an arc, they edited the characters' personas or their signature trademarks. Like example, Captain Smoker. He was in the original. He smokes 2 cigarettes. In the 4Kids version, they show is his mouth is open, but no cigarettes. Like he has his teeth clenched like this, like he's talking, but he has no cigarettes. I mean, it's like you're taking the trademark off of character. I mean, that'd be like saying if you take off, if you edited Looney Tunes, okay? That'd be like saying if you edited Bugs Bunny's carrot trademark, where he always goes, eh, what's up, Doc?
Flag acquired.
Okay, that'd be like saying if 4Kids got a hold of it, they would just edit out and get rid of that persona, you know? Or any company would just edit something out. Like, you know, it's just one of those things that certain companies do.
Mission time extended.
Like, they would edit out one thing, but then put in another.
Secure the objective. Care package inbound.
And again, like I said, with certain topics, we will probably backtrack to previous topics we'll talk about.
Deploy. Friendly care package incoming.
But that decision is on the table but not overturned. But again, guys, like I said, sorry it's been a while since I did the podcast. I haven't done the podcast in a while because, like I said, for one thing, I always tried to see if I could get someone to help me out here because, like, like if I make any errors or such, it's like, okay, I'll get critiqued about it, but, it's just like, okay, if I get critiqued about it, I mean, I'm sure my viewers or subscribers can correct me, or they can just tell me, like, if I made a mistake, because I would appreciate that. I mean, like, I would appreciate a subscriber or someone just commenting, someone telling me, okay, you got some of your facts right, but you messed up on this, this, and this. I mean, yeah, some people will probably critique me, call me dumb as a pack of bricks or dumb as a pack of hammers, or but I was always raised, you take an insult and then you take it with a grain of salt. Meaning all I have to do is just take it. Well, if we can keep this up for 39 seconds, then we're good.
Mission clock running down. Friendly Talon inbound.
Uh,
Flag acquired.
so,
Friendly Hellstorm.
but yeah, bringing up other editing processes in here. But any character that has a signature trademark, if anybody wanted to define that inappropriate or take it the wrong way, that's when they, think, oh, hey, we need to edit this or we need to edit that. Now, with One Piece, they messed up big time. Like, example, Zoro's name. His name is Zoro. And if I still got the game if I still got the game somewhere, they should label him in the instruction manual, but they spell his name Zolo. Okay, now I'm gonna show you guys an example here for a minute. Let me get my other notepad. Give me 1 minute. Alright, there's that. I need an ink pen. I swear I had an ink pen around here somewhere. Ah, kids must have gotten a hold of it again. Or maybe it's in here. Maybe. Okay, this'll work. Let's see. Yeah, I got. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to find a ink pen that'll actually write, because I haven't gone through my ink pens to figure out. Okay, pardon my penmanship here, guys, for a minute. But if you guys can see that. Oh. Ah, I'll find it later. I'll get another ink pen. Give me a minute. Okay. Right here is the 4Kids version of the name. And down here is the original. Now, the only reason why I think they edited it is because if you guys seen the Mask of Zorro, they might have thought if they used this name, they would get this name. So, I don't exactly know how that works exactly. But I do know that's how some people would mistake it. Because some people would actually get a different name out of what name is pretty much, said. Uh, but, to be honestly fair, I did think that they did jack up on some stuff. I mean, and to fill you guys in, I honestly am impressed that they allowed the character to keep his three sword style. But like when they got to the fights, I mean like, and I'll bring up some of the fight examples, okay? Starting with Buggy the Clown, okay? With Buggy the Clown, Zoro gets impaled, or in other words, shanked. Or, like, if you guys want me to use the prison term, he got shanked. Or if you guys want me to use the original term, he got stabbed. He got shanked or he got stabbed. Whichever words you guys want to take with a grain of salt, go right ahead. But basically, Buggy stabs or shanks him in the side. And instead of putting it like the injury bleeding, they show him like covered in like the injury covered where he was stabbed covered in dust, which, to be honest, it's kind of ridiculous how they handle that. I mean, you guys gotta think about that for a minute. I mean, like, if you got and think about it for real life for a minute. If you got stabbed, you would be bleeding, okay? You wouldn't have no dust or anything in where your injury should be. Because if you were to go to a doctor's office like that and all you just had was dust, all the doctors would have said was clean up and you'll be fine. Now, if you was going to a doctor's office with an actual injury and it was like bleeding and stuff like that, then the doctors would be like, oh crap, we need to get this kid to the ER stat, But in retrospect, like I said, again, I give 4Kids kudos for trying to clean it up a bit, for trying to make it age appropriate. But with some stuff, they did go a little too far, and I'm talking a little. But anyway, guys, I'm actually gonna finish this match. I'll probably do another live stream, but I'm probably just gonna make it like the regular Let's Play through of Call of Duty Black Ops 3. I figured I'd do Call of Duty Black Ops 3 for my live stream because, I haven't been on all day. I figured I'd do some of it now, and the reason why I wasn't on all day, guys, was because, funny story, I was lifting 4 or 5 bags, because I was helping one customer at work, and I might have pulled a muscle in my bone, in my lower back. I mean, like, it hurts when I, like, bend over to pick something up or something, but, and before you guys worry saying, oh, hey, you probably should go to the doctor, yada, 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 I'll be pretty much okay, just, Soto, I will get to that. Alright. You know what, guys? Since Soto's gonna get on my case about this, the next game, I will show you guys what games I have. Because Soto's, one of my buddies, Soto, has been getting on my case about the new games I got and such. So, when I get on the Call of Duty I'm gonna do another stream of Call of Duty Black Ops 3 and continue it like a Let's Play. The only reason I'm keeping it as a podcast for this one is because, like I said, I haven't been on it all day, and So I'll go. So like I said, after this match, I'll sign off here and do a second live stream. Because like I said, I'm gonna tell you guys what games I got and what reason I haven't played them yet, or why I haven't done a live stream for them yet. But once I get into that,
Sorry for yourself. There's more work to do.
I'll explain when I'll be able to do them. But to let you know, guys, I am also planning on going retro. And what I mean by retro is I might be going back to like the PS3 era, the PS2 era, and anything Nintendo. But like I said, I think I've said this in my previous videos, anything Nintendo based, I'm going to be playing on Twitch. Because, like I said, I really don't want to waste stream time or anything going through all that mess, then sending my video to Nintendo just so they could look through it, and then just give me the red light or the green light whether I can post it up and use it for footage. So, like I said, I will go through the games I have. You guys already know 2 of the games, but instead I will run through them. They will be on the list again. But Cool Gamer Sodos, I am just letting you know, if I get into hot water because of your suggestion, believe you and me both, it's going to be military school yelling for you, okay? But like I said, after this game, I'll do the closing, and then we will get on. I will do the other stream and tell you guys what games I have, the reasons why I stream them, or why I haven't streamed them yet, or stream them yet, and then we'll get to the nitty gritty.
Drop their flag. Hostile flag returned. Flag carrier down. Hostile flag returned. Enemy flag acquired. Be advised. Hostiles have returned their flag.
And I just lost my dang.
Friendly
And
Martin sentry deployed.
alright.
Enemy flag acquired. Friendly UAV inbound. HCXD inbound. Captured the enemy flag. Enemy flag acquired. Friendly UAV inbound. Captured the enemy flag.
Care package awaiting orders.
We have the enemy flag. Our flag carrier is down. Hostile flag returned. Friendly hardened sentry deployed.
Oh,
Enemy flag acquired. We dropped their flag. Be advised. Hostiles have returned their flag.
alright. But yeah, guys, like I said, after I do this video, I don't know why I'm repeating stuff like a parrot. But but like I said,
Crushed them. Maintain your momentum in the next round.
after this match, I will sign out, do another video. I'll show you guys what games I got, what reason why I haven't streamed them yet, and what reason and why I haven't streamed them yet, and then we'll go on from there. But like I said, first thing, I have to do this match, so it's gonna take me a little bit.
Friendly care package incoming.
Oh, I got another headshot. That was luck. But yeah, guys, like I was saying, but that was my podcast for
Hostiles have taken
the Funimation versus 4Kids versus
unit is down.
the Japanese sub,
Back at base.
or 4Kids versus Funimation versus Japanese sub. And 4Kids did have some good cartoons that anybody could watch, really. Even though they had a couple snags from, like I said, they had a couple from Funimation or whatever other company was Yu-Gi-Oh was from, and again, the Yu-Gi-Oh, One Piece, and everything was better with the Japanese sub version or the original dub version than the 4Kids kid edited version.
Hostiles have taken our flag. Our flag is secure.
So, and like I said, some of the cartoons I would recommend checking out,
Hostiles have taken our flag.
like Fighting Foodons, Biker Mice from Mars, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And they actually used to have one that was kind of a spoof of the Japanese hit TV show called Kamen Rider, or but
Our flag is
it the TV show was uh, Kamen Rider Dragon Knight.
Be advised. Hostile UAV incoming.
They still show clips of it on YouTube, so if you guys want to check that out, it is a really good show,
Hostile
but it's
UAV above.
kind of not of a spoof. I mean, like, how do I explain this? It's not really a spoof of Power Rangers, but it's kind of a little bit different because it kind of mixes like Yu-Gi-Oh and everything with all of it.
We lost that engagement. Regroup and go again.
So it's just one of those things where it's like kind of like a spoof, but it's not really a spoof. Know what I mean?
Extended mission time.
Okay, now we gotta beat 2 minutes and 42 seconds. Ah. But 4Kids, I mean, like,
Hostile care package over.
4Kids did used to show, like, really good stuff. I mean, like, and like I said, I'm giving them some kudos because, like I said,
Be advised. Hostile
they
UAV
didn't just do One Piece and Yu-Gi-Oh. Wow, are they really gonna just camp back there so you can't get near them? That is some bull.
Be advised. Hostile hitter in your AO.
But yeah, but like I said, guys, 4Kids, I know they hit the low blow because of ratings and because of financial cuts.
Our flag has been taken.
And, it's just one of those things where they will work on trying to get their ratings back up. So again, when Yu-Gi-Oh was introduced in Japan, they thought, that could help their ratings, which it did.
Mission failed. This isn't what we
But again, they did edit some quirks out.
Only way this ends is when you don't buy a bag.
Anyway, guys, I'm gonna get off here and get ready for the next live stream. If you guys enjoyed this podcast, you know what to do. Like the channel, subscribe. Like, subscribe, and favorite. Thank you all for listening. Again, I'm sorry I couldn't get any guest speakers. Like I said, one of my boys was busy. The other one was doing a live stream. And if you guys know my friend, he's probably live right now doing, I think, Dark Souls or Bloodborne. Like I said, I haven't really gotten into those games, but like I said, things will be different. I am going to try to get some extra games for Halloween because you know, because like I said, the channel's gonna have a Spooktober, which means I'm gonna be playing some games that are horror based. So yeah, he's doing dark. Well, thank you, Cool Gamer Soto. But anyway, guys, I'm gonna sign off here and get ready for the next live stream. And for the next live stream, I'm gonna explain what games I have, and I'm still gonna be playing Call of Duty Black Ops 3. So, like I said, I will go through the games. I will go through the reasoning. But like I'll go into a game, but while I'm on a 5-second limit or a 5-minute limit or 5 seconds waiting for my revival, I will explain what game I have, but I will take out the 3 you guys know I already have, which is One Piece Burning Blood, uh, Call of Duty Black Ops 3, and One Piece Pirate Warriors 3. So, this has been Anime Gamer Fanboy. Like, subscribe, favorite. To all you bronies and Pegasisters, anime fans and furries and gamers too, and to all my other viewers, I can't forget about you. Thank you all for watching. Keep your troubles on the ice. Keep the ice on your troubles. If you're from the UK, have a good morning to afternoon. If you're from the US, have a good morning. And to everyone, keep the troubles on the ice and keep the ice on your troubles. And I will be back in a few if you guys want to stick around. But if you guys aren't sticking around, this has been Anime Gamer Fanboy logging out. And I'll catch you guys in a bit. And to others, I'll catch you guys next time. Peace out, and catch you in a few, and catch you on the flip side. Peace.